Welcome back to Amped Outdoorsman. And, well, we are not happy to say, but we have storms coming.
Bad ones.
Bad ones. And I think someone's a little nervous about it. So, we're going to try to help Larry the Lemur here.
Yeah.
With some ideas that you guys might have not thought about and may have thought about. We're just going to share some opinions here. So here in just a moment, we'll go through all the stuff that we have back here behind us and show you what we know so you guys can share with us what you know. All right, so starting with when you have storms coming, you might want to break it down to before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm. And that's kind of how we want to break this down. Now, some of this stuff that we have will be used throughout the whole deal. So when you have a storm coming, you got to start thinking about, well, getting everything ready. So you got to have something to put it all in. So a good approved bag or something of that nature might help you quite a bit. But biggest thing is be thinking about communications. You know, communications are good because, well, we generally have them all on our side every day, 24/7. So your cell phone, make sure it's charged. That's a big one. And I will say this in that respect, because you're going to want things to take with you to charge your phone, because if power goes out, your phone's dead, communications are off, and sometimes just because you've been hit doesn't necessarily mean your cell tower in your area has been hit. So there's a few things about, you know, charging your phone that people need to think about, and that's one, the cord you use it with. A lot of us like to go buy, you know, just a little cheap cord that gets you by or whatever, and most of us say, well, I'm not going to spend much on a cord, and I get it. But if you guys have ever seen, they make a silicone style charging cord, and these cords right here can charge your phone twice, 3 times as fast with the approved chargers. And I promise you, you can slam this thing in a door 20 times and it still be worth it. So think about the cord. You can get these on Amazon. Another thing too is power goes out, you have no longer got any way of charging your phone unless you have a battery pack, okay? And so what we do, actually, we take these out in the field with us a lot, you know, when we're actually filming and doing that sort of stuff, because these cameras, they like batteries. So we've actually invested in, this is the Anchor Solix, okay? So you guys don't have to really, I mean, you don't have to go with whatever we've got here. You guys can go online, you can find all kinds of brands of these. This one right here is semi-large. It's not heavy though. It fits good in our camera bag. It will fit good down in a backpack or something of that nature. And if you've got several phones that you have to deal with, this might be the size you guys want to go with. Also too, you can go with something smaller. You can buy these, Walmart, you know, Walmart carries these. Most of them are pretty decent nowadays. You know, unless you just get something that's absolute junk. You know, and you can also, you know, get online. I don't know if Walmart and them or whoever offers these, but, you know, we get these online, you know, a little solar panel charger. You know, this right here, mainly these are used to charge your battery banks back up. Okay, so you might want to think about that. We're going to run through this fairly quick. You guys can pause the video or rewind it if you miss something we said. And in the comments below, if you can, just feed us off your ideas, because, I mean, this is not, you know, a 101, you know, school. This is just what we do. This is the things that we think about that you guys might want to think about. Another thing, too, is a radio, you know, weather radio. These are our emergency units. They're pretty good. They're VHF, though, so a lot of these you have to have a license to use. But you can go to your local store and get the actual just regular weather radio, and that's not a bad thing to have. I would definitely have one of those in my bag one way or another. This right here will do several different types of channels and whatnot, and it's got the weather channels on it. So one thing that I was going to bring out too, we use these for work. These are our cellular-based radios. There's a major company, they're coming on pretty strong, Rapid Radios. We like them. We use them all the time for work. They work great. I've even had them work fine during what most people would call a cellular outage, because these units right here, they work off of a different bandwidth than just your 4G. So these right here, they'll work sometimes whenever the other cellular systems won't. But I mean, if you have no cellular around, these probably aren't going to get you by, but they do work. They work great. We went with these because there's no monthly payment on these. If you've got some family that are, kind of distant, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're, we're in Arkansas, it doesn't matter if they're in Florida, we can just key the button up and talk to them as long as they've got one of these that's on our channel. And you can buy them 2-pack, 3, whatever, however many of these you want. And you can get on their website. It's rapidradio.com. There's a few other people out there, companies that do these. I would say out of most, these right here are one of the better companies that we've dealt with. We've had cellular radios in the past. We had to pay monthly for them. These, I think you get your first year free, and then after that, I think it's like $50 a radio a year. So it's very worth it. It's well worth it. You've got elderly that doesn't know how to use a cell phone very well, but you really want to stay in touch with them. This is a good way to do that, okay? We use these for work, have no problem. I mean, they're instant. So out of the communication side of things, make sure you got good communications throughout, as your whole family needs to stay, connected, friends, all that nature. Because whenever these storms happen, they come through, they tear up everything. Most people won't even recognize, where they're at anymore. It's devastating. So it's just something that I've only experienced once, and it's not even it was in my hometown. I didn't lose my house, but I had to go where across town where we had to help, in Jonesboro, and it was devastating. It didn't even look like the street that got hit, because I mean, it was just confusing, debris everywhere. I mean, houses that normally were there are gone, so communication's a big deal, being able to find each other, all that nature. So with the communications out of the way, you guys, kind of share us what your thoughts are. They got ham radios out there, all kinds of two-way radios, and they're fine. They work okay, but sometimes you need that little bit extra distance. Cell phones, keep them handy. They serve a purpose in many ways. So when it comes to having first aid gear, okay, first aid gear, generally most people, think of the little first aid kits, which are great. They work great for most things. Make sure you have something in your go bag that has Band-Aids, ointments, things of that nature in there. You can step it up a little bit by getting, I think our local academy here has the life bag gear deals. It's kind of, it's a two-part deal. It's got more like, it's got your first aid and survival stuff in here, and it's a get you out of a pinch kind of deal, okay? If you want to invest in something a little bit more than just your basic first aid, you can go on lightningbags.com, lightning gear.
We'll put that in the link below.
Yeah, we'll put it in the link below. This is a company that does it for EMTs and all that nature, and you can get on their website and look. They've got bags for everybody, okay? And these bags, they come filled to the brim with everything that you would need for probably a pretty advanced emergency. And I'll say this, even if you, for some of you that doesn't, do first aid that much, even if you don't have the expertise, sometimes it doesn't hurt to go ahead and get in an advanced bag and have it available, because in a tornado situation or a disaster, you may have a neighbor down the road that's a doctor, and he may be available to you to get, help others, and you may be able to provide some form of some, equipment that might get him out of a pinch. So I don't know, it's just something to think about. Even if you don't know how to use it, maybe someone else that's trying to help you does. So that's something to think about. Guys, water, okay, that's another one. Water, electrolytes, things of that nature. Water is kind of tricky though, because most people think that they can just go buy, shelf water, stored in their, storm cellar, and they're fine. Don't do that, okay?
Don't leave it in there for like a year.
Yeah. Don't leave it in there for a year. You need to get online and probably buy shelf-stable water. It's good for like 35 years or something like that. We got some that's called can of water, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's gimmicky. Now, the taste isn't probably as good as it would be if it was in other, some other things. We've tried a little bit. It tastes like water. It's got a 35-year shelf life, so and that's a long time to store it away and not have to worry about it. So I would say if you have an approved room, storm cellar, shelter, this is okay. Go buy a case of that. Keep it, handy, because you may need it for first aid. You may need it for drinking, just anything. Another thing too, guys, babies. Babies are a big one, and they're hard to take care of when it's like this. We've got one that's 8 months old. Mm-hmm. She's wild. She is very wild, hard to deal with sometimes, especially
does not like the ride.
She does not like rides. She does not like storms. So they get shook up because they can sense that we're shook up. So in a storm scenario, when it comes time to feed them, some of you women out there, you may know this. I didn't know these existed until when we had Ava at the hospital. But you can buy this right here is pre-mixed, ready to go, shelf-stable formula. Okay, you can get it. This I think is like an infant meal brand, but you can get it. Probably, I think, other brands. And I believe you can get it in almost every type of formula. I know there's different types of formula out there. But for you, the ladies that don't know, you can buy that. And it comes with the nipple and all the other stuff that, And you get a box of 6 of these per box. And, it's a good idea. These right here, they've got a pretty high shelf life. But I would definitely, check them, make sure they're still good before I fed them to my baby. But that's something to think about. And when it comes to kids and babies, I brought this out here because this is, this is what they call a papoose. Okay, you wear it like a backpack, but it's forward.
It's like if you put a backpack on your chest.
Yeah,
it's doing school.
Yeah, it's like a backpack, but it forward faces, and you put your baby right here in the backpack, okay? And if you're in a situation where you may have to bolt and run to a storm shelter, you're inside, most of us, everybody knows it. You're inside, you're watching the TV, just waiting on that second when they say take shelter. And
then you hear those tornadoes.
You hear the tornado sirens, and you got to go, and now you're grabbing your baby. Well, what, better yet, you have your baby sitting here on you. You're watching the weather, and it's time to go. All you got to do now is reach down, grab the bag, and go. Your baby's already with you. So that's something to think about right there. There's all shapes and sizes of these. I wouldn't necessarily invest in like a cheapy one, but they're not that expensive. They're very well worth it, especially when your baby's, toddler, infant. Another thing, we brought Larry out here for a reason. Larry the lemur. Guys, sometimes it doesn't hurt to put, stuffed animal, something of that nature in your bag for the children. This is something they can hold on to. Look at him. He's already taken all the worries for you. So Larry the lemur, he's ready to go. He's ready to take on action when it comes to the storm. So another thing to think about, stuffed animals, maybe a little game or two, something that, like that will help get their mind off of the storm. Now, this is for most of you that, have like a storm cellar, underground shelter, maybe and I know a lot of these storm rooms, they're not big, so you have to be limited on what you bring. But I will say you can you can take Larry the lemur and wad him down, and your kid will have something to hold, something,
something to squeeze.
Yeah, something just to kind of comfort them a little bit. Okay, so let's set Larry the lemur over here. All right, so back to the water real quick. I forgot to mention tablets, water purification tablets. Throw them in your bag, because this right here can purify water that maybe has been sitting for a little while. Okay, this will at least make it safer. So water purification tablets. So we're before the storm, during the storm. Okay, during the storm also. Guys, if you're in a situation where you can't go to a storm room, okay, you don't have a storm cellar, you don't have a storm bunker, you're riding out in the bathtub, okay? Guys, hard hats are cheap. Hard hats, face shields, even a pair of safety glasses. Guys, debris comes flying through your bathroom, and let's say the bathroom does survive and you make it, but you're doing fine, but a 2x4 hits you in the head. At least with a hard hat, you have a chance, okay, of surviving. Without this hard hat, your chances are slim. And hard hats are cheap. You can go to Lowe's, Home Depot, any of your hardware stores, and pick up a hard hat and safety glasses, one for each part of the family. And, honestly, it's not a bad idea to have them.
You can even go to Walmart and get them.
Does Walmart carry them too? I didn't know if Walmart carried them. Hard hats, safety glasses, face shields, So this is a big thought. Even, during the storm and after the storm, gloves. Guys, if you're riding it out in a bathtub, pairs of gloves, a decent pair of gloves, leather gloves, they can help you a lot. And when you come out and let's say the storm did hit.
And it's dark.
It's dark. Flashlights, guys. You flashlights. If you're, you can hear your neighbor across the street. Come help me. Well, guys, there's boards, nails, you name it. So I would say in this scenario, definitely on the shoe end of things, Crocs and flip-flops don't cut it, okay? You want some decent, hiking boots, at least some decent tennis shoes, something. I would prefer boots. I wear boots every day, so that's just what I prefer.
Shoes might help,
but if you're, most of my family outside of me, they're a Croc flip-flop ridden, soles. So I'm a big boot guy. So another thing too, rain jackets, with visibility stripes. Okay, so that way if you're out, trying to help others, or you make it through the storm and you're needing medical assistance, when medical attention starts getting close to you, medical personnel, they can spot you, okay? Because when a storm comes through, it's dark, it's done, especially at night. There's no street lights. Now, guys, another thing too, high voltage power lines. They don't just turn them off when the storm happens. When your lights go out, it isn't because the power company was like, well, storm's happening, let's turn it off and make it safe for everybody. That's not the way it works. So there is a high, like for instance, the last storm that we had come through here, it went right over the house. Tornado never touched down, but we got close. At the end of the street, it knocked one of the power poles down in the neighbor's yard. It was almost touching the ground. His house never lost power, and his house was the one hooked to that pole. And all you would have to do is walk up and touch the high voltage line, and it would kill you. So high voltage lines are serious. If you see them, stay away from them. Don't even attempt to step over them. That's what we do for a living. We're electricians. Guys, they are dangerous.
Very.
It can jump, 5-10 foot. And if the wood's wet, and it's laying over in debris, any of that debris could be hot. So that kind of thing, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. So after the storm, if you're the one that got hit, you know, heaven forbid, but if you are, guys, high voltage power lines, nails, you know, all the debris, find something to take with you that can at least protect you from most of that, okay? Another thing too, you might want to think about, and this is again, if you've got a storm ready room or you got room in your bag to put some of this stuff, you know, you can buy ready meals. This is from a ReadyWise company, up to 25-year shelf life, 120 servings of food. Now, it might not be everything you like every time, but it might be enough to get you by, or your family. You know, I've been so hungry before. When we go hunting, I've ate dog biscuits. All right, so everybody can laugh about that, but I was young, I was starving. We had hunted all day, didn't take much food with us, and I was desperate. So this right here would have been way better than a dog biscuit. So that's something to think about. These are just some ideas for you guys to roll around. Another thing too, and this is just kind of my opinion for the most part, and I tell people this all the time as an electrician, you know, we have a lot of people that call, hey, I want to get a generator installed, and that's fine. But I generally ask them, like, what are you, what kind of purpose in your mind are you thinking for the generator? And some of them will say, tornadoes and things like that. I'm like, guys, well, I mean, you can, but if you're the guy that got hit, that generator that you put on your house, it's more than likely it's gone. And it sure doesn't have anything else to serve. So when it comes to generators, I wouldn't necessarily be out there buying generators for tornado purposes. Now, if, for instance, a section of your neighborhood got hit or your town and part of that town was out and they were having to keep those lines down and off for an extended period of time, and you were connected to those lines, but yet your house was fine. Maybe in that sense, a generator for your house would be fine, and it might serve you well a purpose. But outside that, most times generators are good for, ice storms and stuff like that. But if for any reason that you were destined, you had to buy a generator, and again, this is a small generator. This is for mainly, banking batteries backup. It'll run like a mini split, unit, things like that. It's not going to run, this generator is not going to run your house, but I'll show you this generator right here. It's like 4,500 watts. Okay, little Cummins Onan. It's a little inverter generator. All right, not big. It's not a big unit. It's semi-portable. All right. But the thing is it's too heavy for you to run to a storm cellar with it. It's not something you want to store in a storm cellar. Gas fumes, that nature. Now you can buy these. You can buy these that run on propane. But in a tornado sense, I don't know. Some of you guys can share some of your stories down below, and we want to hear them. If there has ever been much of a time where if you did lose your house, what is the length of time that you had to stay there, without help, and waiting for someone to come get you or help you? That just depends. And like, for instance, we had a little story or a little one that we watched a while back where a house out in the middle of nowhere, I think it was in Oklahoma or something, got hit by a tornado.
Texas, and 2 kids and 2 adult humans got hit and they survived.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how, but...
Well, they survived and got lucky because the storm chaser seen their house get hit. And he got up there to them, and he was the one that took them to the hospital. And by the time he got them to the hospital didn't even know the tornado had happened.
I'll find that video again and put it down below.
Yeah, we'll find that one, put it down below. It was interesting. But there's just some things that some people think about that at the first part of it's like sometimes people will think and they'll talk to me about storm readiness or whatever, and some of it will make sense and some of it won't. Another thing too for you guys to consider, when it comes to who do you watch to help you find the storms, who do you watch to help you track these storms. And we've been using Ryan Hall. You can haul y'all weather. He's great. There's a Max Velocity. He's another one. There's several good ones on YouTube, but there's just a couple that I've really kind of grown to trust. You guys may have other opinions, and that's fine. Everybody's got their opinion. He's one that he's got all these other storm chasers that are, they're storm ready chasers. I think most of them take their job serious. And they go and track these storms through the United States. And I mean, there's a pretty big powerhouse of people that are chasing these storms. So you can use those kind of guys. Definitely would say, use them and lace them together with your local weather. And a lot of times if you'll do that, you'll have a pretty good informative idea of where these storms are at and when they're going to hit. Another thing too is the Omega Weather Radar app. That's another good one we use. It has a free version, but it also has a paid version too. And I think Ryan Hall, he uses that. So that's, again, I know we're kind of running through this video. I didn't want to make it extremely long, but you guys can stop it, pause it, and look at some of the stuff that we have here. Again, this is just an open thought process of, kind of sharing with you guys. Think of prescription medicines, ways to, take some of those with you. So some of you guys have to take medicine, and it's serious. Insulin, things of that nature, So you need that kind of stuff in your to-go bag. But again, this is just a video out here, and we're throwing it out before the storms because we're just have to actually take all of this that we have
back inside.
And we're just have to get it back in the bags and get it ready because, guys, we got some bad storms coming. So that was not a joke. But anyway, well, I do appreciate everybody. If you will, like and subscribe to us. We're going to try to keep these videos as interesting and as possibly fun as possible. Fun as possible. So, matter of fact, Larry the Lemur, he come from a trip we had yesterday, and it was fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
Went to the zoo.
Went to the zoo. You guys will get to see Ava's first zoo trip. I filmed and got enough footage for me to use for a lifetime. So she will have the most, I would say, epic first zoo trip video. I know I didn't have. He's got pictures and a little bit of video for his, but we're going to really.
My phone died.
Yeah, the phone died on his trip. So, but anyway, so. We're going to get that together. Hope to get that to get that video out there for you guys to watch. There's several other ones. We got the bass fishing trip that we just did. Mm-hmm. We're not going to tell you guys what all happened because we had some bloopers in that one. So once I get that video out, I'll get it to you. There's just a lot of footage to go through right now. I've got probably about 4 or 5 hours of a zoo trip, 6-hour fishing trip. So I've got a lot of footage to cut through, but definitely want to get this tornado video out to you guys because we told y'all a video a week is what we're going to do. And so I just wanted to, we're kind of keep our promises here. So if you will, guys, next time, we'll see you again next time with Amped Outdoorsman. Are you not going to say bye?
Bye.
Well, that sounded enthusiastical. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. He'll get better at it, I promise.
Hey.
Huh? What?
Hey.
It ain't me. It's you. You're the one that's got to get. You're the one that's got to get better at this. I mean, I do too. I got a lot of learning to do myself. So, anyway, guys, we'll see you next time. Amped Outdoorsman. Stay safe.